It's a kind of tiredness that sleep can't fix, a heaviness you wake up with, already exhausted before the day has even begun. It's in the quiet space between breaths, in the hollow echo behind your own smile. This isn't just being tired of your job or your routine. This is a deeper, quieter fatigue, a weariness with the very act of existing, a fundamental dissonance between the life you're living and the soul you're inhabiting. And if you're feeling this, you need to understand what it's truly trying to tell you. This exhaustion lives in the bones. It's the invisible luggage your soul has been carrying for miles, for years, with no place to set it down. Not a suitcase, but an entire freight of unspoken stories, unresolved feelings, and unfulfilled yearnings. And when someone asks what's wrong, you can't give them a simple answer. There's no single catastrophic event to point to. It's not one big broken thing. It's the accumulation, 1,000 little paper cuts to your spirit, a slow leak of your light, drip by drip, over time. The disappointment that didn't crush you, but settled in your joints like a subtle, constant ache. The worry you swallowed to keep the peace, now a permanent knot in your stomach. The dreams you quietly folded and put away in a drawer you never open, gathering the dust of forgotten potential. People who are tired of existing don't always want to vanish. More than anything, they crave a profound and absolute silence. They want the relentless internal noise to stop. The noise of other people's expectations, the grating static of constant comparison on a highlight reel world, the exhausting hum of pretending you're okay when every single day feels like a performance you never auditioned for. You're just reading lines from a script you didn't write, for a character you no longer recognize, on a set that feels increasingly like a cage. The applause feels meaningless, and the critics live inside your own head. Psychologists have a term for this: emotional exhaustion. It's the point where your mind stops fighting, not out of weakness, but out of sheer, total depletion. Think of it like a bank account. You've been making endless emotional withdrawals to survive, to cope, to appear normal, to manage the invisible labor of simply holding it together. But there have been almost no deposits, no genuine peace, no deep rest, no authentic joy that refills the well. Your emotional resources are deep in the red, and the brain, in its primal wisdom, finally forces a shutdown to prevent total bankruptcy. It lowers the blinds, turns down the volume on life, and goes into power-saving mode. This is why, on the outside, a person in this state can look utterly functional. They go to work, they smile in meetings, they ask about your weekend, they do the grocery shopping. But inside, the world has lost its frequency. Everything feels muted, dulled, like watching life through a thick, soundproof pane of glass. You see the shapes moving, you hear the muffled sounds, but you cannot touch the world, and the world cannot truly reach you. Joy becomes a distant language they once knew how to speak fluently, but the words have now faded into silence, leaving only a vague memory of melody. What's crucial to understand is that this isn't just a mood, it's biology. It's a physiological event. Under prolonged, low-grade stress, the kind that comes from just keeping up with the frantic pace and complex demands of modern life, the brain begins to physically rewire itself for pure survival. It starts to see the world through a lens of perpetual threat and fatigue. The systems that are supposed to make life feel good, the dopamine pathways that respond to rewards and pleasures, they begin to weaken and atrophy from disuse. Motivation, that inner spark, dims. It's not that you don't want to feel excited. It's that your brain's machinery for feeling excitement is worn out, its gears ground down by constant friction. It's conserving the last of its energy just to keep you upright and biologically operational. So when someone sighs and says, "I'm just so tired," please hear what they're really saying. It's not laziness, it's the mind's final, desperate communique. I have been carrying too much for too long, and I cannot find a place to set it down. This is where cold psychology meets tender humanity, because behind every quietly exhausted soul is not a story of failure, but a story of immense, unseen effort, a monument to endurance. The people most susceptible to this weariness are often the empaths, the peacemakers, the relentless helpers, the overthinkers, the highly sensitive. They are the ones who have mastered the art of holding everything together for everyone else. They've become experts at surviving in chaos, at navigating other people's storms, but they were never taught how to dock their own ship in a safe harbor. They learned to show up even when they had nothing left in their hands to give, offering empty cups with a gracious smile. We have built a world that glorifies burning energy, not restoring it, that worships at the altar of output. You are praised for working late, celebrated for pushing through pain, rewarded for your relentless productivity and availability. But when was the last time you were commended for taking a quiet afternoon to do nothing but stare at the sky, or for saying a firm, gentle no to protect your fragile peace? We've created a culture that subtly teaches us to equate our worth with our output, our value with our velocity, our identity with our inbox. And so we learn to feel guilty for stopping. Rest begins to feel like failure, like laziness, like falling behind. The mind whispers a cruel, familiar lie. You don't deserve to pause until you've earned it. But in a race that never ends, that moment of having earned enough never comes. So you just keep running on blistered feet long after you've forgotten the reason you started, chasing a finish line that keeps receding into the horizon. This leads to one of the most painful truths. Being tired of existing is not a sign of weakness. It is often the clearest, most honest evidence that you have been strong for far too long. You've been carrying emotions you never processed, responsibilities you never asked for, and expectations that were never meant for human shoulders to bear. And after years of pretending the weight wasn't there, of smiling through the strain, your spirit, in a soft, frayed whisper, finally says, "I can't keep doing this. This performance is over." Psychologists call a core symptom of this anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure. It's not the same as sadness. Sadness has a texture, a feeling, a poignant ache. Anhedonia is emptiness. It's a void. It's living in a world drained of color, where everything exists in a flat grayscale. The sunrise is just light. A good meal is just fuel. Even good news lands with a dull thud, failing to spark any inner light. The brain, in its defensive survival mode, has decided it is safer to expect nothing, to feel nothing, than to risk the devastation of another disappointment, another hope dashed. So it stops reaching for joy altogether. It builds a fortress of apathy. This is why people in this state often retreat, almost instinctively. They cancel plans. Their texts go unanswered for days. They become polite spectators in their own conversations, nodding along while mentally miles away. This isn't misanthropy or a lack of love. It's a matter of severe neurological economy. Social energy becomes a precious currency they are completely bankrupt of. Small talk feels like lifting a mountain. They aren't pulling away because they don't care. They are pulling away because their nervous system is screaming, "I cannot handle one more demand, however small, not even the demand of my own face forming a smile." It is a retreat to neutral ground. But here is the critical misunderstanding society makes. This retreat is not surrender. It is not giving up. It is an attempt at radical self-preservation. When the world becomes a cacophony of demands, silence becomes the only shelter available. And in that silence, even if it feels lonely and stark, there is at least no new pain being generated. The exhaustion is cumulative, built brick by invisible brick. Every "I'm fine" you forced through your teeth when you weren't. Every smile you wore like a mask instead of letting the tears fall. Every time you bit your tongue to keep the peace, swallowing your truth like a bitter pill. Each of those moments was a stone added to the load. One day, You simply cannot lift it anymore. The back of your spirit gives way. That's when you notice the subtle, haunting signs. Music that once gave you chills, that used to unlock something in your chest, now just passes through you like a ghost. Laughter feels like a mechanical reaction, a learned social cue, not an overflow of uncontainable joy. Time warps. Days blur into a monotonous smear of sameness, yet each individual hour feels agonizingly slow, a drip of molasses. You look around at your own life, your own possessions, your own relationships, and wonder, with a detached and clinical curiosity, when did it stop feeling like living? When did I become a ghost in my own story? But within that very question lies a secret spark. When did it stop feeling like living is not a statement of defeat. It is the first crucial sign of awakening. It is the soul stirring in its long sleep, rubbing its eyes and asking, is this really all there is? Is this the life I signed up for? This moment, as bleak and hollow as it feels, is often the precise ground zero where a profound transformation begins. Because this deep existential tiredness is a signal. It's a message from your deepest, truest self, a flare shot into the sky of your consciousness, telling you that something in your life, perhaps everything, is profoundly out of alignment with who you are at your core. The psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, who survived the unspeakable horrors of the Holocaust, wrote that people can endure almost any how if they have a why. When that why disappears, your purpose, your meaning, your connection to your own journey, even comfort feels like a gilded cage, and routine becomes a life sentence. What you are craving isn't necessarily a different life, but a different reason for this one. The goal isn't to violently erase the tiredness with more stimulation, but to listen to it, to treat it as a compassionate, albeit weary, messenger, not a curse. Somewhere in that hollow fatigue, a voice is whispering, you have outgrown this. This version of your life, this role you are playing, this cramped story you're telling, it no longer fits. The seams are bursting. The path back is not through a grand, dramatic overhaul that requires energy you don't have. It is paved with small, brutally honest moments. It begins when you stop running from your fatigue and start to sit with it, to hear its message. You start to notice, without judgment, what drains you and what, even faintly, nourishes you. A 5-minute pause, a walk without a podcast, saying no to a request that sparks dread. Maybe it's a commitment you need to release, a relationship you need to recalibrate. Maybe it's the version of yourself that always has to be strong, competent, and agreeable that you need to retire. You rebuild not for achievement, but for alignment, for integrity between your inner world and outer life.
Because energy doesn't just come from sleep, it comes from congruence. When your actions match your values, when your time reflects your true priorities, you feel lighter. There is less internal friction. There is a strange, hard-won beauty in this journey. People who have known this weight, who have touched the bottom of this particular ocean, often surface as the most compassionate, grounded souls. They understand pain without words. They sense the struggle behind another's polished smile. They lose tolerance for superficiality and learn to speak softly, love deeply, and cherish raw, awkward honesty, because they know now, in their bones, that pretense is a poison that starves the spirit. So if you are hearing this, and that quiet ache within you resonates, please know this: you are not broken, you are not behind, you are not defective. You are a human being in a world that has forgotten how to rest, how to be, how to value depth over speed. You don't need to fix everything today. You don't need a new life by tomorrow.
You just need to grant yourself the revolutionary permission to stop, just for a moment, to breathe deeply, as if it matters, to admit out loud to yourself, I am so tired. Start there. In that raw, unadorned honesty, you will find a solid ground you haven't felt beneath your feet in years. The colors will slowly, almost imperceptibly, seep back in. A song will one day find its way to your heart again, and you will feel a tremor. Not because everything is perfect, but because you have finally made peace with the imperfect, messy, beautiful, and deeply real experience of being alive. Your tiredness was not the end of your story. It was not a life sentence. It was the turning of the page, and the next chapter, written with the ink of your own truth, awaits your hand.